Ah, alright, yo. Let us begin, I guess. So, here's the program. This is the entire thing. Look at that. The big thing, even though it's only 6 minutes. I'm not going to be using the cut down version. So, for the segments that got claimed, I'll just be kind of like this, where it's like jumpy. That's cool. Um, but everything else, I don't really mind going over. Obviously, if you guys have any questions or anything, I'll be looking at coming back to chat every time, and we'll see how we go along. Okay, so um, the Garfield Abridged show, episode 9. My goodness. Um, so for the CD version or cut down version, um, you guys really don't miss out on much. It's just like the rat therapist here that had to be cut down, and the other one that got claimed was the fact that it's John's abuse with squeaks in this segment. You know, that got claimed. I guess we just didn't hurt squeaks enough. I guess he needed more abuse. Uh, anyways, just a little bit more squeezing, sorry. Huh. So let's begin. So basically, we've changed up the intro just a slight bit. I've modified it a little. In the actual release, it was a little bit um, edit audio. It was just a little bit quiet within the release. So normally I'll bring it up to like 133 or something, just like a little bit louder, just to kind of match with the loudness or tone for the rest of the episode. So you guys know how to set your tone before the episode actually starts. That's why I like. That's why I actually like having the intro for before every episode. That's why we even have it in the first place, so you guys can set your audio. Anyways, but yeah, it turned out to be a little bit quiet. Anyways, so the bomb, I guess. Guess we could go over the bomb that has happened. It's not really too much to really go over. It's just a still image, dialogue, some sound effects to convey the message, and then we have the bomb itself. And if you look at it, it's slightly chopped at the bottom, but because it only lasts for what 15 or 8 seconds, something like that. Yeah, nine milliseconds. You'll barely be able to see it. So it being tossed, it should look quite nice. So yeah. Anyways, it gets tossed, have the sound effect, and then we have the effect of that happening. Now, maybe the redness is a little bit strong. Not entirely sure. Maybe it is just a little bit strong in terms of the background. But I was also thinking at the corner here. See, anyways, at the bottom right corner, I was thinking about having like a slight red glow or something, but just got a bit lazy, honestly. I don't know. I guess I could all, but one, is it distracting? It might be. Um, in other words, like it'll add to it a little bit, but yeah. Anyways, and then we have a fade off. How this was pulled is that, say if I remove this layer, the intensity of the red becomes a lot more stronger. If I remove the bottom layer, this is the red color itself, and this is the skin, in other words. So the skin is very important, because without it, we won't get the shape. So that's the best way to look at it when you're doing editing and such. Anyways, so yeah, it fades out. Well, Garfield kind of climbs upwards. It's very important to have it finished by around. Yeah, that was just my clock. Don't worry about it. It's very important to have it finished around here, basically. So then the color removal doesn't affect Garfield's model while it's happening. But I wonder if you could like, because that's when his hands come up. Kind of, not really. It's like at the tips of his fingers you might be able to see it, but yeah, it's not too strong. So it's barely noticeable and it just kind of conveys the message. You can also see how the red building on the right side also gets affected just a little bit. How it kind of like goes from a white here to its natural color. Anyways, so yeah, we have Garfield insulting Harry, because that's just how he rolls. Funny idea is that what if he was to throw a second bomb? Like, what if he was to throw a second thing? I guess that's another thing we were kind of discussing about with what should Garfield throw out the window, because I didn't want him to like throw a clock or anything. I wanted him to actually like throw a weapon or something destructive. So I think it worked. Remember about that bomb as well, because later on John uses also an explosive. Then we have Squeaks running across. It should be picked up. I hope the audio gets picked up. Oh yeah, they're looking pretty happy on the thing. Let me see. Okay, so you guys cannot hear it. So I have to add in an application. Yay! Give me a second. Give me a second. I gotta add something. Let's see. Audio output capture, that should be it. Hopefully. Yeah, maybe. Let's try it.
Hi Garfield, look who came!
Alright, but
Yeah.
it better not be who I'm thinking of. Whoa.
You know, another thing which I could use instead of that, so then I have less clutter, is my desktop audio. I think I could actually just use, couldn't I? Oh, once again. Yeah, so anyways, I'm back. Sorry about that. I think I could use my desktop, couldn't I? See if that works.
Hi Garfield, look who came!
Yep, that works.
Alright,
Just
but
gotta
it
set
better
it.
not be who I'm thinking of.
Something like that, maybe. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen it, you should actually watch it. But yeah, there you go. Okay, that should be good.
Hi Garfield, look who came!
Anyways, Squeaks' voice is okay. I mean, it's funny the fact that the voice actor for Garfield is the same voice for Squeaks, which is obviously what I'm doing. It's pretty funny because you have to look at it like Squeaks is a very innocent, soft kind of character that gets dominated or controlled by Garfield, which is the exact same voice actor, you know. It's the same kind of projection, the same kind of, you know, aggression onto himself in a way, almost. I think that's kind of funny. But anyways, there you go. Oh, I guess I should talk about the structure. How are we looking? Pretty alright. Alright, so I guess I should talk about the structure, about how I have it structured. Anyways, basically, whenever coming into a project such as the Garfield Abridged show, I will use that as the thing. Always, I slap the episode itself onto the timeline. I throw in the intro. I cut out the intro outro. We'll do the little cleanup, and then upon it, I just put in like placeholders. I can't show you the previous versions of the sequence, but basically, say like the still image would be like here. Because the thing is that I don't know how long the dialogue will be in terms of syncing. I don't know how long it's going to be. So it's going to be like this sometimes. Down there, over there. And yeah, it'll look like that originally. So if I set it back to normal, Cool. Cool. So that's just me setting it back to normal. So, yeah, I don't know how long a sequence will be. So normally I just kind of chop up, as you can see here, like this is one shot. I normally chop up a shot, and normally chop up this shot. And then, you know, stretch it or fiddle with it a little bit just to try to sync up with the dialogue itself sometimes. And that's why sometimes in like earlier episodes, some of the dialogue would like overlap, and it could be a bit distracting or a little bit hard to focus on what the characters would be saying sometimes, maybe. Anyway, so that's in terms of putting it together. Slap the episode, chop up the shots, and then just adjust them to the dialogue. So after slapping the episodes down and cutting the shots, we then voice act. Me and Drathic, we kind of have a little discussion as to what we'd like to do, and then I do any little audio effects, such as this one. He's like,
Now that's it to me.
you can hear the reverb that's coming. If I max that out, you should hear, you know?
Squeaks.
So yeah, he has a slight reverb to him at some moments, and that needs to be planned during basically when editing the audio, when we're adjusting anything like noise removal or whatever. Yeah, and we do have an idea for some noise, some background white noise in an episode I can't spoil, so sorry. Anyways, so after the dialogue's done, we then go to syncing. So we throw down the dialogue, where it will be, normally it's like 2 lines, normally. Rarely is it 3. 3 lines, rarely, sometimes. But it'll be 2 lines. So this is the best way I could describe it. So if I grab the Garfield Abridged or whatever, just the episode itself, and I grab, yep. Yeah, again, that's just effects to the audio, so that sounds good. I'll bring this up a little. Cool. Separate that, because don't want to get claimed for any dumb reason. Basically, we go through it. Some dialogue will be John, some dialogue will be Garfield.
Come on, Garfield.
So that's John. So yeah, that's John squeezing squeaks, obviously.
Is that a...
Yeah, so there you go. So we'll say like that. Okay? And then further down the end, somewhere like, what, here? Yeah, so that's squeaks. Hold on.
Maybe it can't be.
Yeah, again, that's squeaks. So sometimes it's 3 lines. Try to look for a Garfield thing. There's a good example.
No,
Yeah, so that's. So, yeah, copy that. Let's say like that's the start of Garfield's dialogue, and this is the start of John's dialogue. We'll just remove this, okay? It'll look like this, most times. And then this, the visual, will just be like chopped up, shot by shot, almost. So, yeah. They shouldn't be able to claim a flipping, a still image. They shouldn't be able to. It's really annoying if they do. Anyways, so yeah, normally this is what the dialogue would look like. And then it's just all about syncing and such. Anyways, so that's what it would look like. Sometimes it's 3, like, say if it's only Garfield's character, he'll have his whole strip, and then we'll have John's character, it'll be a whole strip, and then we have Squeaks' character, that'll be a whole strip. And that's what I mean by it being 3 sometimes. Sometimes we go by actor, so the actor will know his lines, say it all, and then we'll count that as a strip, and then the next person gets to go, which is the next actor, say Drathic, and then that will be a strip. So Drathic would voice his multiple characters, and then we can easily, or I, as the editor, could easily kind of layer them and sync them, so it's all good fun. Yeah, that's how it's all put together, essentially. So when the voice acting is done, then we have a little bit of, well, the boring part, I would say. Well, that's what I would say. It's the part that's a little bit less interesting, and that would be the sound effects. Now, I don't hate sound effects. They're fine. Because like you need sound effects. That's what conveys it. But like, because it's the Garfield show, I'm not trying to make a short film. I'm not trying to make a movie where everything needs to have some sort of sound to it. For example, when Garfield's walking here, so every step, you can't hear him walking. One, he's got fluffy paws, because he's a cat. But like you'd be expected to hear footsteps, or like John, when he walks, you'd be expected to hear or some kind of footstep sound. It's the Garfield Abridged show, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not trying to make this world realistic in any way, because I just don't care. Sorry. Just don't really care enough. But key sounds or anything ideal, such as the explosion sound effect here, this far. So key sounds like that, I'll have to like put in. But small things that people probably won't notice, it's not really worth it, honestly. But that's basically how I approach things. Cool. Still no questions? Cool. Fair enough. It's all good with me. How are we looking? We're looking pretty happy. That's pretty good. Oh my gosh, I'm actually able to actually make a live stream. Can you believe it? Like, I can actually do a live stream. That's crazy. Anyways, what's the next thing to bring up? Oh yes, the next stage. So once sound effects are done, normally in like short films or feature films or whatever, I would also go into the sound effects and adjust it in terms of sound mixing, just to make it sound more kind of real, or like make it sound a little bit more like it was there. Anyways, that's just sound nerdy stuff I'm talking about. After that, the next thing that I focus on is music or Atmos. So that's the next stage that I focus on. So say this music here.
Hopefully they're not staying all that dead.
Just bring it up.
Hopefully they're not staying all that dead to John. No, Dad. I don't think he can.
Yeah. Anyways, so you get it. The next stage is adding in music. Now, some music, such as this specific track, is a bit strange, because obviously I have a fade in here. But say if we start before the fade in, this segment here. I don't know if you can see it, but this small segment here. There we go. This small segment here will be a bit more quieter in comparison to the rest of the track here. And throughout the track, after like this segment, I think, it gets even louder. So it's not really a constant kind of sound, which is annoying, but oh well.
Hi, Garfield.
So you could barely hear that. However, if I turned it up, you'd be able to hear it. Maybe not that loud, but like you'll be able to hear it.
Hi, Garfield.
So yeah, sometimes you can hear it, sometimes you can't. Ideally, I like to keep my music or sounds between 50 and 25 is ideally where I like to keep it.
Hi, Garfield.
So you could just hear that, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's not too distracting or too like, it's not too much icing on the cake, where all you can hear is, for example, if I turn it up to 80, and if I cut to here,
John. No, Dad. I don't think he
like, it's harder to hear Garfield now,
they're not staying all that dead to John.
So That's ideally why I like to keep it around 50 to 25 sometimes for like quieter moments here, and louder moments such as here could probably be just a little bit dimmer. But that just comes down to sound mixing. And honestly, it's the Garfield Abridged show, so I don't really, you know, like I know it's nice to the sounds and such. This one here is basically Atmos, or like a Discord to bring in tension, obviously. Um, all of the music and like that stage, which is like the last stage of editing, is Atmos and music. Um, that's the best part to me. You know, when you just add in the tone. Oh, so good. Okay. Um, anyways, and the last stage of which comes to editing is in fact the copyright moment. So when you edit the first episode, we don't know what is actually going to be okay or what is not going to be passable. What will be passable, what isn't serviceable. Um, so, like, for example, I'll just show you a still image that they won't be able to claim the stream. But say like this. The original image does not look like this. The majority of the screen, say like everything here, this black screen here, is obviously has been changed because we've stretched the video itself out in comparison to the original, which you could probably see by the icon here on this clip. You could probably see it. So when editing, you don't actually know when you don't actually know what will be claimed or not, you know. And if it does get claimed, part of it means that we have to kind of suck it up and get rid of it. Where do they play? Where do they play it? I gotta look for it now. Give me a second. Oh, it wasn't there. It was afterwards. It must be here. No, that's the chaos. Here? Yes. So that's the original look. But like, not that one. That one. That's like the original. You know? That's like the original. So like, you don't know what will be claimed or what wouldn't. When it comes down to what is acceptable, what isn't. Anyways. And that's why, for some of the viewers, they'll see the funkiness happen during these segments, in terms of what's going to be claimed, you know. So that's why I recommend get a VPN and like watch the full version, watch the original is what I would recommend. Yeah. So yeah, it's a real shame, but oh well. Anyways, moving on. Where did we leave off? Yeah, Garfield makes some threats. Yep. Poor Squeaks. This is the best part, is when Garfield originally goes from smiling, and then his mouth just drops. It's not rendered, which is why it'll be lagging. But like, his mouth just drops to a rather disappointed, like, don't talk back to me, or like, you know, just that look of, you defy me kind of look. Yeah. Oh, I guess I might as well do it. When it comes down to doing Garfield. So, we'll do something like that right now. We'll make Garfield more so demigod-like instead of the original. Now, key things that we do, or that I do. Should I go over it? Hey, as well. Why? No. Well, how are we looking on time? 36 minutes. 37 minutes. What do you guys think? Should I Should I do the Garfield turning red kind of look? I don't think anyone's actually here. Oh well. It's okay. I'll probably just do the quick one because if there's no interest, there's like no interest. So, well, so yeah, the moment where it turns red is down here. But, yeah. Okay. Yep. So I added a sprinkler sound effect. Obviously, there's no sprinklers going off outside. It's just something to give a little bit of atmos or a little bit of like taste as to what's going on outside the window frame. Anyways, then we have Tasty, him talking. Thought this was funny, the fact that Squeaks just kind of stands there. Maybe it's probably not long enough, I think. It's just a frame freeze, so I froze that frame. 2 seconds? 2 seconds should be okay. Should be okay. But yeah, I just thought it was funny the fact that he just like stands there and he's like, move! Don't just stand there. That's all he does. And then he reacts when John actually comes in. So funny. Yeah, so yeah, he's just a bit far away from the mic, but it's the Abridged show. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, so some overlapping here. So that's a little cool little trick, I guess, is the fact that Garfield in the original clip literally only has like he moves his mouth twice,
I don't care.
or a little bit more than twice, but he moves his mouth a little bit. You know, he moves it a little, and that little bit will not suffice for this whole dialogue track, basically. So I had to shift the dialogue track backwards to fill in when John's like just kind of staring into the camera. So it just kind of works. So that's nice. A little bit of editing where you overlap a character talking, such as here, where John is talking, and then Garfield could easily react, or he looks at John as John talks, because this dialogue here is too short. Him moving his mouth, it's too short, so we just have compensation. Anyways, me going over the whole thing. I hope the cartoon sound effects will be okay. This is just like a little bit of a like stock kind of sound effect, just to kind of give off the the effect of mice, a group of mice suddenly appearing. And then we have the joke, especially mice. It's very good. And then yeah, we have Garfield stuff. Oh, I guess I should also mention, when it comes down to planning, sometimes, let me grab, sometimes we have text. We literally just have text. So, this text is literally just notes. So, so it's just text. Like I just throw text here, and then as the footage plays, I know that this is my note. This is what we planned in case I forget when we record the audio. But you'll never see that on an official, on an actual export. You'll never see it. And if you ever do, then that doesn't actually fall onto the original footage. It actually falls onto us, because my goodness, there are so many animation errors in this show. It is incredible. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so I think this is fine. I just throw in a couple sounds. Garfield just kind of stares into the camera. You can see that this frame or footage, it's a frame, it's a still frame, but is rotated 180 degrees. That's just safety, but it also kind of still gives off the same message that he's just looking into the camera. So yeah. Anyways, that's just nerdy stuff. It doesn't really change anything, but it helps when it comes to trying to export and get people to watch the episode and actually enjoy it. And then we have Squeak suffocating, we have Odie, which is literally a sound effect. I still disagree with Drathic, but you know, it's his tier list. Can't argue with him too much. Anyways. Yeah, and then this is just like me slowing down Cats in the Hood. Is fine. Oh, I guess I should say, all music comes from the Garfield cart. Because Garfield cart basically had the Garfield show soundtrack. So that's basically what I just use. And then we have Odie being kicked out. Again, as you can see, this is just like compensating, where it's like 14 speed, and this one is 2 times speed. So this one's just going to be a bit quick, and then this one here just kind of compensates for what it is. Anyways, and then we have stuff. Oh, I guess I should. This swing down here is because John stops talking, and so for his dialogue to still come through, it's that whole like you can't see his face up at the top left, can't see his face. And I would prefer that when going from this frame, where it's as you can see the white lines kind of have it all there, and then dragging it downwards, you can see that it just kind of like gets bigger, top left, where it just kind of stretches to get bigger, to send it downwards. So I don't want to, while it's stretching, I don't want to crop it, so I don't want to do this at the end. So if I was to, say, normally, this will happen, where, because it's also stretching and it's also cropping at the same time. And if you do that, then it starts to get strange or get weird. Sometimes to fix it, sometimes, not always, you could go linear, and then it fixes it a bit. So it could save it just a little bit, yeah. So it just fixes it nicely. Just a little bit of an editing tip for anyone using this program, just in case they get any ideas. There you go. But anyways, I don't want to like. It also comes down to like how much memory the system has, how much memory is left in Camtasia. Anyways, moving on. So that's that one. Moving on. And then, you know, he talks about the mice, and then we have a jump cut, because, yes,
In your head.
don't question me, yes. It just had to happen. Plus it's the Abridged show, so really, who cares? I mean, you shouldn't really be so super critical of someone making a parody. Like, you really shouldn't. Just enjoy it for what it is. And we have John's disappointment and Garfield's shock, because the idea is that he gets caught off guard at that moment. It's pretty funny. And then we have mouse abuse. But you know, it's fine. He's a mouse. It'll be fine. And then he gets tossed. And yeah, poor squeaks. Moving on. Moving on. If you want to see it, go watch it. Just go watch it. Also, don't get motion sick. Sorry, but it had to be done. That's what happens. Yeah. Again, it's like not rendered. So if I was to play it, he's gonna like freeze between things, because obviously it's not rendered. It's like you've put all the ingredients into the bowl, but you haven't put it in the oven yet. So the oven cooks it, it renders it, and then when you take it out, it's delicious. You know, you get to watch it and enjoy it, or eat it, or whatever. Yum yum yum. So if you were to play it now, it's still a dough. It hasn't cooked. It hasn't baked. So that's why it freezes. If you wonder, because it's not rendered. Anyways, again, you can see it just kind of like bleeding out here, but I don't really care. It's fine as long as it gets it done. Yeah, and then he says his catchphrase, which is lovely. Okay, so I told you guys to remember about that bomb. Do you remember that? When he says impossible. So the original dialogue actually had a little bit of a I can barely hear it as well. That makes me look bad. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Where you could hear a slight little tick or a slight little hit. So if I remove the music, you can hear it on your left ear. Yeah, where there's like a slight tick or something. Yeah. Anyways, so to fix it, you just identify the tick, you make it shush, add in music to kind of fill in the empty space, and then you can't hear it. It's all good. So, if it works, it works. Anyways, and then he throws in a grenade. As you can see, there's a grenade. He like throws it into the drawer and then slams the drawer shut. And that's when we get an explosion. Boom! Oh, it's so good. And it's like, it's even timed with the music. And now I've like raised the music volume just a little bit just to kind of get that kind of I'm losing my words. The thrill, the excitement, the thing to kind of build up. So good. And like him throwing in the grenade. So you can see he sees two mice in a drawer, and his first instinct is to throw a grenade and blow them up. Also, in the explosion, you can see that it's slightly green. I've added a slight green tint to it, just to kind of emphasize that it is, in fact, his bomb that he created. So good. Oh. You're probably wondering how those explosion sound effects are pulled off. It's really simple. Here, as you can see, the canvas, it just like, it zooms in a little bit, and then we just have it shake up and down, literally. And then it just gives off that effect that you want. And then this one here is to smooth it. So, a little bit of smoothness, and then this one's meant to be a sudden bang, and then smooth. So it looks a little bit more, yeah, it's nice. Anyways, he glances over, sees the mouse, and he says his last line. And then we have Garfield, and then this I thought might be a little bit, that like he's losing his mind. So I added like a, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. Anyways. Yeah. So he does his thing. He brings Odie in, and then this moment here is the moment where Drathic first is actually when Drathic first did the sound for John to go. Like, it's the first time when we were watching the episodes. It was the first time where Drathic did that. And since then, like, we were like, dude, we should probably add it in like other things, and that's what brought us to this moment. So, yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, and then he gets to go typing. How are we doing? How are we looking? Ooh, it's almost been an hour. Crikey. Crikey. Got things to do. Anyways, we're about halfway, or just over halfway. So we're almost done with this. Also, my goodness, look at that neck. Look at that neck. If you ever seen Garfield with a neck like that, goodness me. This is why this is why Garfield, in his design, should not have a neck. 1 second. 1 second. Look at that. Goodness. Look at that. Look at it. Goodness. Like, no. Anyways, obviously, with animation, it's okay to stretch out some limbs sometimes. For example, I think... Where is it? Where is it? I think it might be here. I don't remember. But it's when, oh no, it's when he's walking or something. They'll stretch out his limbs just to give it kind of that bounciness to the character. Huh. Anyways. Yep, so I've already gone over Rat Database. One of the things that I was thinking about is like, what if I was to do... Give me a second. Like that. Like, it's a 4x3 kind of cartoon that will be played, but then you don't have any kind of nice framing, so to say. But yeah, it is 4x3. Anyways. Moving on. Yeah, and to avoid a claim going on for the audio, I just heavily compressed it. So it's just heavily compressed. But it still sounds okay. You know? Like, it's just heavily compressed. Maybe a little bit quiet, but it's just heavily compressed. Okay. And then, yeah, we have a great joke. Just Garfield stare. It works. Obviously, things have been shifted. Some of the scenes have been swapped around. I think we still tell the same story. I think it still conveys the same message. And then he goes for squeaks. And then this is one of the highlights here. So on my screen, it looks like a nice kind of red tinge going on for him. But upon exporting, or whatever, apparently it's a little bit too dark. So if I was to bring it up just a slight bit, you know, that might look better when exporting. But he's supposed to be like a dark red and not like a bright red kind of look. It's very kind of monstrous. And the segments are really short because the rest of it just kind of looks, you know, a bit pathetic, a little bit bad, a little bit weak. So like, you know, can't really use it. But this one moment where he like kind of lunges forwards with his pointy teeth seems to work the best. The only like major gripe, and it's no one's fault really. It's just like that's just how it is that Squeaks here is obviously standing still, thinking or talking to himself, clearly by his expression. But in this shot, he's clearly walking towards Garfield. So, you know, it just kind of looks a little dodgy. But the main idea is that Garfield, a bright red color, lunges forwards towards Squeaks. Cool. Now, you probably also noticed, but the curtain, as you can see on the curtain, it's also red. Why? Why is the curtain also red? Well, obviously it's because of the effect when I remove his skin color, obviously. But if I was to play it normally like this, it'll look a bit odd. Which is why sometimes, and I'm surprised I actually didn't do it, well, no one's probably going to notice, but sometimes, say if I edit, this one here could be a good kind of round here, I guess, and then this one, which is the original, we'll get rid of that, and now it's back to normal, and that's back to normal. So, yep, this one here is on full opacity, so nothing's going to get through this layer of red, and then that's the skin. This is obviously skin, and then this one is obviously the original. And then sometimes what I could do with the skin is I could just shrink it down because it won't make a difference. Sometimes I'll just bring it out overwards, because if we have any bleeding, so that's what I call bleeding, is when this is when this comes out sometimes. That sometimes happens here. Can you see it? where like you get like a red line going straight down. So that's what I call bleeding, where you could see it, a red line going straight down. So for safety, I let the skin be over the color itself. Cool. All right. So that's just a little tutorial when it comes down to making Garfield, or when it comes down to removing stuff. Honestly, this only lasts for what, a second? 12 milliseconds, sorry. This lasts for like only a few milliseconds, so no one's really going to notice the drapes being red. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but this drape, like both sides of the drapes are red, so for them to match, it's good to have them both the same color. No one's really going to notice a slight color difference. And then we have Squeaks' moment. Obviously, this is a still frame, and this is Squeaks blinking. So the blinking gives him life. If it was just a still frame throughout, it's going to look like he's frozen, or like he's not alive. So this blinking helps give him life. Cool. Nothing else to really report here. I mean, this 100%, where is it? Here. This mouse could 100% be Squeaks, but me and Jurassic just want to do a little bit of trolling, or a little bit of goofiness, where Garfield grabs the some different random mice to deliver the message. Anyways, nothing really going on there. Yep. Yep, that's just a random sound effect, don't worry about it. And then, yeah, this is all just kind of lip syncing. That's why sometimes it's going to be like faster, sometimes it's going to be slower. But that's just to sync with, you know, stuff. So, don't worry about it. Anyways, and then this, Play Misty for me, builds up to the main theme, only for the mice to be thrown out and landed into the backyard or whatever. Okay, cool. So, little funny thing, when Garfield does his whole to do exactly as I tell you to, funny part is the fact that he told them to do this. Right? That's all he told them. He only told them to get into the sack that he will deliver. That's all he wants them to do. And then he picks up the sack, and the mice, they don't know where they're going. He doesn't tell them this part, where he throws them outside. He didn't tell them about that. He did not. Anyways. We might mention that in the reaction, you never know. And then he's like, why didn't you just do it sooner? He's just like, didn't feel like it. I love it. And he's like scratching his belly. It's so good. I'm so proud of it. Again, it's not 100% rendered, so don't worry about it. Go watch the original. Okay. And then it's like, alright, well, how do we end the episode now? Now what do we do? And then we have the episode end, and John calls out, and this is just a funny little joke. He calls out Odie very loudly, very confidently, and then this one he quietly calls out Garfield. So compare that to this,
Odie!
where it's very loud and happy, and then he says Garfield, like a mutter almost. Cool, and then we have the dog park joke. So, yeah, cool. So I believe Regan Wilkes, great guy. When he first saw John with his red eyes, he thought he might have been like taking drugs or some kind of substance. So that's the joke in this episode. That well, why not? He tried a little bit of something. Anyways, don't really want to get into it too much. Normally, sometimes I'll add in just a fade to black or something, just like a short little fade. That'll be 15 seconds. That seems fair, and then it'll just be a regular fade to black because to say like episodes has end. The curtains have closed, so that's sometimes what I normally do. But for this one, just kind of want it just to last, just to let the viewer kind of see like, yeah. All right, well that's that episode. I don't have any other episode to go over, and there's really nothing else for me to kind of talk about in terms of the Garfield Abridged show because there's really nothing else really too fancy. It's not meant to be something. It's just meant to be funny or like a good time. Don't take it seriously at all. Both Garfield and John are aggressive characters. They're both meant to be villains, so just don't take it too seriously. That's all I could say. All right, awesome. How was that? Probably a bit laggy, or a little bit too laggy. Maybe the stream is dying. I have no clue. Anyways, well, that was a lot of fun. There's probably just little bits of lag, which is really annoying. Yeah. Okay, well, now that's all done. Finally got this out of the way. Finally did it. It didn't 100% disconnect. I did not get the notification. So thank goodness that's over. And it probably will keep on happening. It probably will, because it's a pain. It's being real annoying. Alright, cool. Oh, hi Garfield. Oh, hi Lily. The first time I actually get to look at chat. Hello, Lily. You know what? Because you're the only person who actually responded, I'm going to pin your message. Yeah. And look at that. Someone actually came to check out how the editing's going. Gosh, that's crazy to me. It probably Lily probably already left. That's all good. Like you could do whatever. I don't really mind. But yeah, that's just me going over the editing process.